Theatre with the brilliant Jackie Clune, who is currently performing in the Rocky Horror Show. Now, we know Jackie from lots of other shows, such as Motherland, Just for One Day, Measure for Measure, Billy Elliot and Mamma Mia, and TV shows such as Motherland, Mandy, Towards Zero and Borderline. But today we are here to talk all about her role as the narrator in Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I saw last night, Jackie, and it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, what a show to be in, right?
Yeah, it's great fun. It's great fun for me because as the narrator, I get to have a lot of fun with the audience, and the audience is very much another character in the show. And without them, I'm nothing. Like, they shout things out at me, I shout things back at them, and we all have a great time. It's just a bit of a cliche to say it's a classic good night out, but it really is. It's like a party. It's like nothing else.
It really is. And what I mean, I've been watching this show for years. I think I was about 14 the first time I came to watch this show. And what I loved last night, you're the first female narrator that I have ever seen do this. And a lot of the die-hard fans did not kind of adapt their sort of staple, their staple shout-outs to you, but you were on it with them, weren't you?
Yeah,
like,
I have to be. There's quite a lot of male genitalia referencing in the show, especially towards the narrator. So I just flip it, and I think that's really great that they've embraced the idea of a female narrator in the production company, because, you know, it's a bit of a departure from the norm, but it adds a totally different flavour to the show. Yeah. And what I love the most is when I say something very female-centred, all the women in the audience roar, and it's like that great release of, yeah, we feel seen, and like, it's a wonderful opportunity for me. I love it.
It was so, I mean, we were howling last night, honestly. It was so brilliant. And to hear something different as well, like when you have been coming for so many years. So I loved that. And like you say, as the narrator, obviously you're telling us about the story, but you are also really guiding the audience. You're almost acting like a stand-up comedian, aren't you? Because, you know, you've got the things that you've got to say, but then you've got these things, and a lot of the time you know what's coming at you. But has there ever been times when you're like, whoa, where did that one come from?
Oh God, yeah, blindsided by some people who are really quick and really witty. In several venues they'll shout things out that would completely take me by surprise, and sometimes I just laugh because it makes me laugh, and it's fun because, especially if it's something that's kind of taking the mick out of me a bit, the audience loves that because it is a sort of power play. But I mean, I did stand-up comedy for years, so it's kind of going back to that for me. In fact, some of the best shows I did as a stand-up were in Manchester, coming up to do Pride events and so on. So yeah, it's a sort of return to that for me.
Yeah.
And I love it when something unexpected happens. That's when it starts to feel really alive.
It's brilliant. And I've always wanted to ask a narrator, what is in the book? So in your book, is there actually a script? Is the notes for comebacks? Yes. Or do the cast kind of write like little things to make you giggle?
I think they do sometimes. They don't do it to me, luckily, because that would definitely work. I'm a terrible corpser. There is the script. But obviously you sort of know it, you're telling the story, and it's a prop really, but yeah, the script is in there. And occasionally I'll write a little note to myself like, oh, if they say this, then you could try that, or you know, or you know, it's kind of a bit off the cuff as well.
And is there any kind of sort of story between the narrator and Frank-n-Furter? You know, do they know each other, or are you just there to tell the story as you see it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've never played that, but maybe I'll try that tonight. Maybe I'm an alien as well.
Maybe you are an alien. You'll never know. And if you could take one of the characters from the show and do like a news expose on them or something like that, who would you like to delve a little bit more into?
Well, I love the character of Brad.
Yeah.
I know he's a bit of a square. But because I don't get to sing really in the show, and I love singing, I always, backstage, sing along to Brad's numbers, because I can sing that low. And I'd love to play Brad. So I'd love to sort of delve into like what made him so square, and his bisexual side that he discovers during the show.
And there's 3 narrators on this tour, isn't there? You're one of them. And how logistically does that work? Do you all kind of, you know, start rehearsals together, or do you kind of pick it up as you go along?
No, I had like 5 or 6 hours rehearsal for this, for the first time I did it 2 years ago. As long as you know where you're coming on and going off from, and you've got the book and you've thought about what you might say in certain situations, you're kind of good to go. I mean, there's a bit of choreography at the end with the time warp and the bows and everything. But I've been around a long time. I've picked things up pretty quickly. We've never actually met. I've met Philip Franks, who's not doing this tour, but he did the previous tour. I haven't met Nathan, who's the other narrator. We're all very different because you've got to go with who you are and what you can joke about. And so, I gather they're all great, but all very different.
And there's behind all of this glitz and glamour and the sequins and the lace and the leather, there is that really beautiful message as well of self-worth and acceptance and kind of just being who you are rather than who society expects of you, isn't there?
Yeah.
And that massively comes through, particularly towards the end of the show.
Yeah, I think that whole motto of don't dream it, be it, you know, and I think we still need that. It might be tempting to think that we don't need shows like Rocky anymore because everyone's liberated. But look at what's happening with trans rights. Look at what's happening with women's rights, gay rights. This stuff can get rolled back on really quickly. And it's happening in the States. It started to happen here as well, sadly. So I think this show still has a really important message. That everyone deserves dignity. Everyone deserves to self-define. And I think, you know, it's a silly, crazy show in lots of ways, but at its heart, that's the message.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's just why people keep coming back year on year. I mean, I've been coming since I was about 14 to watch this show, so and you always get something new from it, like you say, dependent on who's playing the parts and where you are in your life as well, I suppose.
Yeah, very much so. And I think just that whole thing of like being part of a community for the night. I think that's a huge aspect of the show, that people come along and they feel part of a group and they feel included. It's a bit like, I always describe it as like kinky church. It's like you come to a congregation of nutters, you know, weird people, and it's glorious.
It is, it really is. So what is going to be your takeaway then from being in the Rocky Horror Tour?
I think just the joy of live theatre, wherever we go in the country. People come tottering down the high street on heels they've never worn before, wearing fishnet stockings, men in corsets and wigs, and it's a sense of release for everyone, and I think that's so priceless.
Yeah, it really is. And I cannot say, honestly, the last night it was absolutely fantastic. You were putting current jokes in there and, like you say, feminism. It was just hilarious. So from a Rocky fan to you, thank you so much for everything that you did last night.
That makes it all worthwhile.
Well, everyone else can come along and catch it. It's here till the end of the month at the Palace Theatre, Manchester.